Hi guys, I am here getting ready to make my breakfast. The shop opens in about 20 minutes, so we have just a little bit of time to go ahead and make some breakfast. Now I do eat animal products, so if you're offended by that, you are going to see me cooking. You're going to see me cooking my breakfast, so please click off if it bothers you. But what this video is going to be about today, actually, I am going to be talking about how I got into the tarot. A lot of people ask me how I got into it, what I did, who introduced me, that kind of thing. Well, first of all, I'm going to start, and this story, I may jump around a little bit. I'm not that great of a storyteller. So, excuse me. What I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and explain it the best that I know how. So first of all, it started off, I picked up my first Rider-Waite deck at a yard sale when I was about 9 years old. I was with my friend and her family, and I had a couple dollars on me, and I was really excited because I didn't know what they really were. I was very sheltered, and I was a preacher's kid, so I didn't necessarily understand what the tarot was fully, or what it was really fully used for. So when I talked to the person at the art sale, and I was like, oh, you know, I really like playing cards, and she said, well, these are a little bit special. They're tarot cards, and I'm selling them because, you know, I bought them, and I just can't read them, or I just don't connect with them. And I was 9 years old, so I really didn't understand what she meant by I just didn't connect with them. So I was like, well, I'll take them, 75 cents. And she gave me my quarter back from my dollar, and I was on my way. Sorry about the throat clearing. I am battling some horrible allergies here in Florida. I tell you what, our state flower should be a freaking pollen head, you know, when you see the pollen up close. But anyways, as I was learning about the tarot little by little, I kept realizing that the gift that they enhance, or what they do, I had already been doing it in the church. Now, like I said, I was a preacher's kid, so it was not unusual for us to go to church, and one other lady in the church had the gift that I had for discernment or prophecy, whatever we want to call it. A lot of people believe God or the Holy Spirit would speak to them and tell them things that they needed to know about other people, or past, present, and future, different things like that. So it wasn't unusual. Later, I was told that the tarot was evil because I saw the name again in a book that was given to me by my family, and it was talking about different things that were evil, and tarot was mentioned. And I was like, well, what do you mean it's evil? What about tarot cards, you know? And of course, my dad is passed now, but at the time, he would not allow those types of things in his house. That was going to be a big no. So I kept the tarot cards hidden. I hid them in quite a few different places. Not only did I hide them around my bedroom, but I also hid them out in the horse barn. Because I knew that if they found them, they would throw them away. And for some reason, I felt like this particular item was very special to me, and I didn't want them thrown out. I wasn't finished using them. I wasn't finished learning and checking out my gifts. So fast forward a little bit. I went to a Catholic school. I had some friends there, and we would go and we would play, and we would pretend like we're witches, you know, because the craft came out and all that other good stuff. So naturally, oh, I had these tarot cards. So we would play with them. We would pretend. And I eventually started using them just to pretend and play. And I would play a game we called Tomorrows. And we would use the cards and the images to predict the future. Well, little beknownst to us, that stuff really started happening. I'm sorry, my dog wants my breakfast. Oh yeah, you'll get some later. So, fast forward again, I was trying to fit into my little box in the high school when I went to high school. Middle school, everybody was kind of awkward and weird, so it really wasn't anything too different, but high school, I was a majorette. I was trying to fit in with a whole lot of, well, to say lack of a better term, snooty girls in the high school. So I hid that part of me until I realized, you know what, I don't fit in their little clique. Now, my cousin, she did everything in her power to fit in this little clique. Because we were both on, like, the majorettes together, dance team type thing. And she even went so far as to, like, hurt myself and my mother, making up things. And my mother's sister, who is now also deceased, did the same thing. So this little town had absolutely horrible memories for me. Not only were most of the people absolutely terrible if you didn't fit into their little clique, but it was also not feasible for you to be outside of the box at all, especially if you didn't fit in. Now I'm gonna move you, and we're gonna eat some breakfast while we chat. So, again, I'm going to be eating, and they do have animal products. So if you're bothered by this, please click off. Now, as I realized that I didn't want to fit into their little clique, I started going to Pittsburgh because I found some friends there that I did fit in with, or at least I thought I fit in with. Now, this is good. This is where my love for tarot rekindled. So at this point, I had been reading the cards intuitively, little definitions out of the little white book, been reading it intuitively, that kind of thing. So I definitely had an idea of how to read and what the cards meant for me intuitively, but that is really all it went. It was like I said, it was the 90s and then into the early 2000s. So there wasn't a whole lot of information or a whole lot of books on witchcraft, let alone tarot. We had some of the classics, but other than that, it really wasn't too much of a study. So I moved in, and I moved to Pittsburgh with a couple of friends. One friend from this little town that I was from, we're gonna call her Jasmine. Another friend, I'm gonna call him Jim. And his friend, we're gonna call him Nate. Well, Nate's mom was somewhat of a hippie. Okay, and what I mean by that, she was really witchy. She lived on her own in this little apartment. It was like a efficiency apartment. And I remember it was dressed in like bright colors. There was a sun above her bed. And she had an altar by a small window and her dresser. So it was like the dresser was inside of this little cubby where the window was. and there was tarot cards. Well, my friend Jasmine was really into tarot, and she was getting further and further into witchcraft, which was cool. So she really noticed the tarot, and she was like, oh, can we get readings? Well, my friend Jasmine had brought another friend with her, another female friend, we'll call her Sarah. And she and Jasmine got a reading. By the time Nate's mom got around to me, she was too tired, so I didn't receive a reading. And I actually wanted one really bad. But I liked the way she was reading, and I liked the way that it connected with my friends. So, after we got done with dinner, I later learned that Nate's mom had abandoned him and his brother. His grandparents took care of him. She wasn't exactly the most responsible of people. She was a nice woman, but definitely not the most responsible. But by this time, she had rekindled my interest and my love for the tarot. At this point, I had been reading cards on and off for people at school, not for money, just for fun. Reading for myself in the horse barn when everybody was away, or sneaking my studies. Sorry, the dog really wants my breakfast. And he has food. He tries to trick me. So at this moment, I bought a new deck, the Celtic Dragon deck. No, I bought a new deck, the Celtic Dragons. And hindsight 2020, I would have stuck with my classic Rider-Waite. I really like the Celtic Dragons, but the suits are switched with the elements in the suits are switched. So that's a whole other teaching element. So besides that, we did boofing, or live action role play. That kind of thing, the live action role play. And we had gone on this camping trip, and I was reading cards and stuff, and people would bring me things because I didn't do it for money, but they would bring me stuff from their campsite, like a watermelon for a reading, or they would bring me a little bit of their barbecue, that kind of thing. So it was actually nice doing a trade. It was nice receiving stuff and knowing that I was doing a good job with it. So, and as I practiced, I got better and better at it. Eventually, I got really sick in Pittsburgh, and this is where all this problems with my stomach and stuff started. Gallbladder was going bad. I was only 19. Gallbladder was going bad, getting ulcers, weight gain, weight loss, just kind of boom, 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 up and down, up and down. And that's for another video though. I will make another video about my health stuff. But to make a long story short there, I eventually asked the cards if I should move back home, what my path was, what I should do. Eventually the cards, they did tell me I should rekindle my relationship with my parents and move home. See, before that I had moved out because I felt smothered. I wasn't able to do a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. My dad was extremely strict, as I was saying. My mom lost her temper a lot. She's a lot cooler now. She's kind of mellowed out. And she helps with the shop and making things and whatnot. She's a little more open-minded. So this all kind of worked out the way that it was supposed to, I believe. Besides the death of my dad, which cancer sucks. But I eventually moved back to this little town, and I really hated this town. It smothered me. But I started doing readings on the down low, because like I said, I was a preacher's kid. And I started putting up flyers in the local laundromat, the bank, places where they had advertisement boards, like the grocery store, because it was locally owned. It wasn't a big Walmart. We didn't really have one. You had to go to the little shops, which it was nice at one point, but now it's just, there's nothing there, and you can't do anything there. Nothing's really good there. So, but that's another story for another time. Now we're 15 minutes into this video, and I don't want to make it too long, because of course if you're doing a story time and it's a little bit long, people start rambling. So maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow is Easter. So, and if you don't celebrate Easter, it's not really a big deal to you, but my mom and stepdad might be coming over to visit. So I don't know if I'll be able to get that video out, but I think we're going to continue the story of how I learned tarot, or whatever you want to call it, my tarot reading saga. So right now we're stopping at the little town and me taking my readings a little bit more seriously, and when I started to charge. So next video, next cooking video or get ready with me type thing, I'm going to start with the small town and where I started picking up paid readings and moving to Florida eventually, and how I got to Cassadaga and really started making it a career move. So as of right now, I'm gonna stop the video here, and I hope you enjoyed this quick story time up until my move to Florida. Thanks. We'll see you next time.